We had one more resident comment to add. Oh, would you press the little button that looks like a person until the microphone's red? Yep, there you go.
So Jeff Hansen, Arbory Court. I just wanted to say that we've had, I think, 4 meetings now, and the meetings were all initiated because one individual that has not come to any of these meetings started cutting down trees, and we just wanted that to be known to this committee. I've been mowing, I think, if my math is right, 31 years, and nobody's come to me and said that I'm mowing it wrong, or the weeds that I'm lopping off above the Kentucky bluegrass that was kind of infiltrated is fine. I just think we're really overthinking this. If the village comes in and sees that the grass is mowed, they typically just pulled out after the residents took care of it. Or if there was a resident that didn't get after that portion of their lawn, they would mow it, come and leave. And so I just think that the common sense would be that whatever participation is going to be from possibly peripherally from the landowners, we don't need to really work too hard to have the grass mowing police come stop us do it. If the village pulls in and they see that it needs to be mowed, they can mow it. So I don't know if there's anything that really needs to be, a motion needs to be made relative to the green space. And in the 31 years that I've been there, I don't think anybody other than the residents in our neighborhood have used it. They're certainly more than welcome to, and I think it's been a pleasure for either weddings or events to go on back there because of how it's been maintained. But we're going back, we only had this issue is because somebody on Main Street started cutting down trees, and I just think that we're really overworking this whole thing. Thank you.
Thanks for adding your comments. I mean, we can, of course, table this if we'd like to, and any members can go check it out, or if there are more members here next month, or it is on the agenda as discuss and consider if any committee members would like to make a motion for us to consider, unless there's more discussion, of course. But I'm just trying to, we can talk in circles about this, I think, forever, which we have for 4 meetings, but we could continue to do that next month, or we could try to close this up.
I don't know. I mean, it's so easy to let it be as it is and turn a blind eye. I know it's the easy decision. I don't know.
Do you want me to get a couple more members here?
Well, I mean,
I don't want to drag this out any longer than you have to either.
no, I know, but I don't. That's the thing. I don't think it hurts. I think you guys are maintaining it now, and I don't think you'll mind maintaining it for another month, probably. So we probably could table it. I mean, we can make I can make a motion to, we can split the 2 in half and make a motion to have all permanent structures removed. But we can. Hopefully we have more people come next month, but I don't know. It's just, I'm torn between the easy decision that we won't have a problem for a decade or 2 decades, but I don't know if it's the right decision.
The benefit of having village staff mowing, they'll look for maintenance of trees or limbs, and those are the kinds of things that people get hurt doing.
I mean,
I don't know.
I mean, it's just, I have confidence in our parks department. I play in the park. It's like, it's a lower standard than they're maintaining it. Yes. Is it still an okay standard? I hope so, because there's a lot of kids that play in parks. So it's just, I know they all feel very strongly about it, and I'm feeling it. But I don't know if that standard is that bad. Is our park standard that bad that we have to say, no, it's not okay, or it's not good enough?
Right, well, and our job at committee and board is to look at the whole village too, and, you know, making decisions on every neighborhood. We have to make our decisions for the, you know, the greatest good of the whole community, and we have a lot of public spaces, and if we have people then starting to maintain all of our public spaces, you know, that could get, you know, I know it's a slippery slope, and we don't know if it even go down that, and seems like a very unique situation that's not really accessible. So, you know, I mean, obviously I'm torn on it too.
Again, yeah. Maybe we can table it. Maybe we can get Sean opinion of like, can you go back there and look at it and say how it's maintained now, how the village would do it differently? Like, see what, what his opinion would be, I guess, on it?
Sure, and I can report back. Unless you would like him here, it's completely up to you. But I can definitely get his feedback. We can go look at it together, and I can report back on, you know, his comments.
I mean, I'm not a specialist in lawn maintenance and everything. If he thinks that it can be maintained at a similar standard by the village, then I think we have precedence to go ahead and say it's village property, we maintain it. If he says that it's gonna be a huge downturn and that they can't maintain it to anywhere near that standard, it's gonna be a lot worse, then we'll still debate it, I guess. I don't know. But getting maybe more of an expert opinion or someone who's gonna be doing the work would be helpful. So I'll make a motion to table this agenda item until the following month.
I'll second.
Okay, any further comment, discussion? All right, hearing none, all those in favor to table, say aye.
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 Any opposed, any abstained, motion carries. Sorry we go another month without decision, but we'll have some information for Sean on how we can compare maintenance for next month.
Sounds good.
It seems like a simple solution, but it is implications throughout the village potentially, so we want to make sure we set the precedent right. So I appreciate your patience and attendance. The meeting will be the first Tuesday of September. Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Then we can skip back to 4A, update on solar panels for the municipal services building. There was a brief update, I think, Josh, in your report. Did you have anything else to add on that?
Yeah, nothing really to add. We're still waiting on those pieces of equipment to come in. They gave us a month or two ago of this mid kind of August timeframe for that kind of last piece of equipment, and from what we're hearing, it's still that timeframe, and then we hoping they can get kind of right on it. So I mean, best case it's probably end of the month of August. Worst case it's probably early September, assuming that they do get all the parts here in a couple weeks. So.
Okay. All right, keep us posted. Even if we get before the next, well, I guess it could be close to the next meeting when they might get the parts, so. Or a cool, exciting email if they get it before would be fun to get too.
We should know a little more by then. Yeah.
Okay, all right, sounds good.
Yeah.
Any questions on the solar panels? All right, then we can move on to new business. So first we have discuss and consider lighting options for the Glacial Drumlin Trail parking lot. So we talked about that a little bit last month, Brian, because the state would pay, but then we pay the ongoing cost of lighting it. Is that right?
Correct, yeah. So the state, and they're still working through their, how they seek the funding. It does take some time, but their funding consists of up to $5,000 to go towards this project. We don't exactly know how much it will be yet, but I did look, I made several calls. Unfortunately, we only got 2 responses. It's a smaller project, so it tends to go that way. But obviously, the costs are a little more upfront for the solar. But, you know, I just wanted to give us kind of a more, I think we have roughly 4 options here. And, you know, obviously this may be something that needs to be tabled until we see what the funding is going to be from the state level. But I was hoping, I was told at least that this was I should have had it by now, but I jumped the gun a little bit on that, so I apologize, but at least it's some, maybe we can have a brief discussion about what, you feel is important, or what the village wants to move forward with.
If the state will pitch in on the upfront cost of the thing, and then we have to pay for the ongoing, I guess it's not ongoing electricity usage, it's maintenance of it, correct?
Well, yes, so depending on which one you go with, so obviously one of the options is an Alliant pole. That is something we do have to pay continually cost on the electric, but the maintenance is all Alliant. So whether a light bulb goes out or a car hits it, that falls on Alliant, so.
The solar one, I'm guessing, is not that.
Correct. Solar is owned by the village then, for us to maintain, whether it's a light bulb goes out or a car hits it, that's our responsibility.
I would err on the side of Alliant. If we had 50 of these to maintain and we had the infrastructure to do it, I could do solar, but it's just one pole, so I would err on the side of Alliant.
It's up to you, the committee on how you want to go about this. If we can just have a brief discussion, or unless there is a motion, but all the facts really aren't here. We just don't know what the state's willing to contribute yet.
I would say if somehow we can talk the state into contributing more because it's solar, then we should go for that, but, I don't know, you never know what the agencies are trying to, it could be part of a bigger.
Does Dane County do anything?
Right.
They're probably more incentivizing than the state.
Yeah,
No?
Still waiting on that call back,
yeah.
so. No, I have reached out to, Madison, what they've done, they've have several parking lots that they've started transferring over to on what they did. And, unfortunately, the company they went with wasn't really interested in a very small project that we had. So,
Yeah.
and that's what I found a lot of. We had basically one vendor besides Nichols respond back with options, so, besides Alliant, so.
I'll motion to table item 5A.
Second?
Motion and second to table. Any further discussion?
Sorry.
All those in favor say aye.
Jumping the gun.
All those in favor to table say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstained? Motion carries. Look forward to more info on that. Making lots of decisions. I'm kidding.
It's gonna be a long meeting next week, or next month.
So then we can move on to 5B, discuss air quality testing for 225 Bonnie Road, the old Public Works building. Brian had a memo in our packet. Sounds like we have some fire code situation, and there's mold in the building that we know there has been.
The roof is fixed now. Fixed it.
So the roof is fixed.
Roof is fixed.
The
okay.
roof is fixed. It's a little more substantial inside. The level of repairs is just south of $20,000. I think it's more for your awareness. One, I really don't know where this money's going to come from to fix it. Right now we have it cautioned off. Nobody goes in that area. But it's also in a building that we may potentially tear down. So not really sure, which route we want to go. And before we're out of fire code because of the ceiling tiles. Some of them are missing, but part of the remediation is actually tearing the entire ceiling down. So it doesn't really make sense for us to really go in and replace those ceiling tiles if that's the route that I would suggest going. But I mean, again, it's a lot of money.
There's no plans for a new building in the next 5 years, is there?
Yeah, what's the timeline for tearing that down if that were the avenue?
I believe, if I'm correct, now don't quote me on this, but I thought that was a part of phase 1 of tearing that down, but when phase 1 happens, I'm not really sure.
Yeah, we'll know more, I guess, when we start the capital
Correct.
Yeah.
planning.
Yeah.
We can table this too.
Well,
We might
it's
have to
just,
because we kind of just have to wait till the budget process is.
right,
together.
and I'm fully aware of that, and I wasn't really bringing this here to kind of say, hey, what, can I have $20,000? It's more or less like just more of an informational. I wanted to keep you aware that we are taking all the precautions we can to keeping our staff safe. And until we have a better direction, that's kind of where it's at. We can go in there and replace ceiling tiles for now, just to get in the fire, just to get back in the fire code. So, you know, it's just gonna take a little bit of PPE. You know, obviously, we're gonna do what we have to, N95 masks, all that stuff, whatever we gotta do to keep our staff safe. But we'll go in there and we'll meet fire code. But besides that, that's kind of where we're at with it.
Are there companies that replace ceiling that have more PPE than we might have access, like? I don't
Well,
know.
so when they were gonna go in there, so a part of the remediation, they wear full suits.
Yeah.
You know, hoods, N95
Mhm.
masks. They run a HIPAA filter
Mhm.
24/7 while they're in there. We don't have access to that. I can definitely look into a cheaper cost of getting that up to code. I just don't know if I feel very comfortable sending our staff in there,
Yeah.
knowing that this is a problem.
Oh, I agree. I don't think we should.
Okay.
Even putting the ceiling tiles, like, I see a problem being out of fire code, and I see a
Correct.
problem sending staff in to fix it. So
Correct.
I guess I have a hard time seeing a solution other than the full remediation.
I can
but,
definitely reach
yeah.
out to this company and see
Yeah.
if they could just get us back in code until,
Yeah.
you know, we as a, you know, you as a board can, you know, or us as a team
Mhm.
can
Mhm.
formulate a better plan moving forward, so.
Yeah, it just comes down to how long until the building's torn down, right?
Right.
If it's
Correct.
3 years, or whatever the cutoff is,
Mhm.
you know, if it's 2 years, we don't do it, if it's 3 years, we do it.
Mhm. Yeah, because how much do we need the space? Like, is it really essential that we have this
So
space within 3 years or something?
so the office space that we're, you know, that we're talking about that has the issue, we don't even use.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a matter of it's there and those spores are there and
Mhm.
that, you know, obviously when we're in there, it's ventilated. We do have equipment in the other area. So
Mhm.
obviously, you know, bay doors are open, ventilation is there. But we are still in that building,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
It would look great, but can you, could we pay to have it sealed off?
I mean, I can look into several things. I mean, we even talked about, you know, how much would it cost to just tear off the front part
Mm-hmm.
of the building, you know? But at that, you know, that's obviously gonna be a substantial cost, probably more than 20,000. So, we can look at, you know, all possibilities of sealing it off. I just don't know, I'd have to check with the fire department as far as code
Mm-hmm.
and what that even does for that. I'm just not sure.
Well, I think for me, the most important thing is making sure that we aren't sending our staff into
Correct.
unsafe environment. So that is, you know, what I think we need to revolve our decisions around, and, you know, definitely taking this issue to the board to, you know, we really need to make a decision about what we're going to do.
You know, and we can even go as far as if you know, I can talk to the fire department, see if we can get sheets of plywood just to
Mhm.
drill in there and cover the doors,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and that way there's no access at all.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I just need to make sure with the fire department that there's proper egress
Mhm.
from there if somehow somebody would get in.
Right.
I just don't know the legalities of it, and that's something I'd need to look into.
Yeah. Other comments, thoughts on this? It's not a consider, so. it's
I can just report back if you'd like, next meeting, just to kind of the status
Mhm.
where we're at.
Okay. Any other comments on that? All right, then we can move on to update on light fixture replacement at BB and N, which there was an accident quite some time ago, and gotta think of a new creative solution because that light fixture's not available anymore. Is that, gathered that correctly, Brian?
Yeah, correct.
Okay.
Just trying to pull it up here.
Yeah.
So obviously, I believe I sent you the quote on that. I just received something back here from Meltz, was it, I want to say the name right. Yeah, thank you. Sure, we'll go with that. So they don't actually have an exact match. What they do have is something close, but, you know, it's one of those things I didn't want to, it's not going to change the cost. We've already paid to have this replaced. It's just not going to be the same thing. I'm just trying to get my screen here to.
Doesn't sound like we have much of an option, though.
We really don't. I know JJ's worked on this in the past. I've taken it over. Sternberg's a really good company. This is kind of their sister company, you'd call it, that kind of deals with designs and whatnot, but they just don't have anything as ornate as what we currently have, as decorative as it is. It's more of kind of a solid piece that goes up there. But again, I don't know. You know, obviously the company that installed them is out of business. And I'm just not having a whole lot of luck finding a good exact replacement for it. But, you know, again, Nick, you're right. We don't have a lot of options. I've kind of exhausted myself, to be honest with you, with trying to reach out to other,
The business of light poles
Yep,
is
that's
just
fine.
not very
you know, we're running in,
broad.
right, we're running into the same issue with, we ran into the same issue in the industrial park, which is why we went the way we did, you know what I mean? Again, that company went out of business and we were just left with no options, you know? So,
So this fixture would be faced the other way. Would the top part be like the one you sent in the link? Like,
yes.
so it would have the lantern pointing up like
It
the
would,
other
it would
ones,
still
but it would
point
just
up.
be straight
cor-
across.
Correct. It would
Okay.
still point up in that it just doesn't have the wrought iron look to
Mhm,
it,
mhm.
you know? So, and I do have, I can pass out some of these to, does everybody have a copy of that or no?
I've clicked the link in the email
Okay,
you sent out.
you're good, okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's basically, that's the difference. It's just more of a solid piece. There's not as much flair to
Sure.
it.
Is this just it's just on the agenda as an update on light fixture replacement, so is this you're planning on moving forward with this unless we object or something? or is
Correct.
that-
We can
okay.
get, so obviously that it doesn't change the cost. The cost is what it is.
Mhm.
We can get a refund. Obviously, because it was existing, we
Mhm.
went ahead with the purchase of it,
Mhm.
with the understanding that if you voted no at this meeting, I can call them and cancel.
Mhm.
So it's, because it was existing, I wanted to kind of, this is going to take 6 months to get in anyway, so.
Do you, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was wondering if it's covered on like the insurance of the person that hit it or?
Yep.
Okay.
So, well, not entirely.
Ah,
So $1,000,
okay. So
one
we-
quarter of it.
yes.
Our insurance, do we have insurance on this type of thing?
So usually the insurances are gonna, well, that was our insurance.
Oh,
So,
ours, but the person who hit it, they're not responsible?
so I don't know the status of that. We're
Okay.
still working towards
Okay.
it. Usually how this works out is we will have to pay the upfront anyway, and then
Sure.
eventually if there is any, we get
Okay.
reimbursed later. We do have the funds to take care of this.
Sure.
You know, so that's why I went ahead and kind of expedited a little bit. But again, full knowing that if you want this, if there's a no, we can cancel.
Okay. Sorry, Chris.
Do you know how durable the new one is when being collided with the car?
I don't think it'll survive an accident, but hey, you know, I'm not an expert.
So anyone have any feedback for Brian before he goes ahead with this order?
I have no objections.
Okay, all right. Hopefully their 6 month is a long estimate. Fingers crossed.
Well, no, I'll be honest, yeah, we're good.
All right. Thanks for working on that.
Sure.
All right, so then we can move on to item D, discuss and consider yard waste drop-off site improvements. As you know, we went to Purple Cow last year, maybe it was the year before it, last year?
It's about a year now.
Yeah,
Yep.
and so they take brush also, which is different than what we used to do before, so Brian
Yes.
was looking at some new options over there.
Yeah. Sorry,
Go.
are we on the
Yeah, the yard waste.
yard waste drop-off
Yep.
site? So yeah, this kind of, you know, ties into the next item on the agenda also,
Mhm.
but I just wanted to bring up a picture here. So, I mean, good little history here. Obviously, we took away Bakken Park drop-off site for brush, historically used by the village. But because it was unsecured location, we saw it used by contractors, some of the township members, and just really anybody. Some of it, we found mattresses. You know, it just ended up being that. So in an effort here to kind of help our residents and give back what they've lost, we are looking at putting in a concrete yard waste drop-off site between the Bonnie building and our salt shed, roughly 80 feet by 60 feet. talking to JJ, we would then, that's enough room for us to allow brush to be dropped off at the same location. Obviously, we would have a sign there kind of indicating what you can and can't. It's anything 6 inches or smaller, but it can be full trees. You know, everything goes to one spot. It's very efficient for us. I did have a memo in here that really doesn't pertain to the meeting anymore. Apologize for that. We actually have funds to take care of this. And we can actually, you know, my intent here though is, so the road project at Crawford, roughly after everything from the chip seal, sidewalk, and road, right now, we have left over about 42,000. Problem with the road project is you really never know what you're getting into until you start digging. So you know, to leave that money there is fine. I think we're going to be in good shape there. But we do have $35,000 in our road repair account. We don't have any plans for that this year. So using that 35,000 is what we'd like to do. It's going to be 6 inches thick concrete, like I said, 80 by 60. It'll get us away from Toby a little bit, his auto center that's starting to fill up. So I think it'll allow us some good room to work. And like I said, I think it's really going to be a great benefit to the community if you so choose.
And you said it's controlled, so big.
So it's controlled, I guess at least it's monitored. We do have cameras out there. That was that was going to be your question? Yeah. So we have cameras out there. Now, I'll be honest with you, could they use an upgrade? Probably. They're not the greatest, but they do their job. I mean, we
Can
can...
they read license plates? In case somebody has a mattress they try to drive?
Well, yeah. I don't know how good it is, and that's, you know,
Are
part...
they in color?
Huh?
Are they in color? Or are they black and white?
You know, I'd have to talk to JJ. I actually haven't even seen our cameras out there. I just know we have them. So I believe it's actually controlled by the police department. So there's like a retinal scan and everything you got to do to get over there. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, I just wanted to, so basically it's this entire area stretching from the building at Bonnie all the way over. It's going to be free floating. It's not going to be connected to either building. There is a door right here on the Bonnie building, so we do have to leave egress so that door can be used. So, but roughly it's going to extend from here all the way to almost our property edge. It's going to be pretty huge. You know, I think room for us to grow and keep utilizing this over time.
Is there going to be like a concrete barrier like there is for the compost?
So what we're going to, yes, it'll be pretty much the same setup. So what we had here is we've got extra, we used to have two. Actually, it's still in this picture. So we actually created one large one over here. And we actually intend on using this for walls going down the side, and then we're actually going to bury in the back ones, kind of berm it up there to give it a little support, so when the staff are going in there to take a scoop, they're not pushing it over or pushing a wall in. So Dave Vegan, our street superintendent's got a pretty good plan for this. So
My only question would be if it's going to be vertical as we're looking at it right now.
Yep.
There's a big RV right on the lot line at Toby's right now.
Yep.
So it might be a little tight to get something in there, which, I mean, could be good for making sure that contractors don't go there. But
Right.
the other concern I might have is if people like back in, they might just leave it at the front because there's no way to back all the way in and then get out, you know? So
Right. You know,
I would be concerned about everything piling up at the front because it kind of happens with the compost.
Sure. You know, it is something we do check daily, even on the weekends. The staff who are in doing our well checks for the wells, they're checking that every day. You know, and if it needs a push-up, they push up with the end loader quick, and then they move on. So I would hope that, you know, it doesn't become a bigger issue, but we're putting efforts in to make it not that way, so.
Yeah, especially during the like busiest times when people bring like a trailer of leaves and
The
dump it right
fall.
at the beginning. Yeah.
The fall's always, you know, a hard time for us.
Excuse me. So when they come to pick up, are they going to pull in and then, oh, I like that.
So that'll give you kind of a good description of the site.
When Purple Cow comes and picks it up,
Yep.
they're going to, I assume, pull up and then back in?
So
Are they
per-
going to have enough room to bring?
So Purple Cow, how that works is we actually deliver it there.
Oh, okay.
Yep, they don't come here and get it, so it's
Okay.
it's a drop-off site for them.
So is there enough room for our vehicles to pick it all up to back in and then,
Yeah, generally we'll have, let me get rid of this. I don't want to use him. What we end up happening is we'll park somewhere like by the salt shed at an angle. The end loader then drives in, gets a scoop, backs
Okay.
up, dumps in. So it's essentially that. It's a pretty simple process. I see a lot of benefits here, especially with the brush issue. And I like the idea of that opportunity being given to our taxpayers, also keeping our staff off the roads and doing less of traveling to each house. If people want to get rid of it and offer their property, let's give them an option.
Oh, so we're not doing the monthly pickup anymore?
No, we are.
Oh, we
We're
are,
still
yeah.
going to,
But, okay,
yeah, this just kind of takes away from the amount of time that we're out there doing it.
yeah. Can we have some signs made? Like,
That was going to be what we, if this is approved, we'll have some signs made up for it that kind of give the rules of it, like with it being 6 inches or smaller for brush, trees. But yeah, we'll have a sign made up for it, for the rules of it. But yeah,
maybe a sign at the end of the driveway too, just that says,
this way?
yeah,
probably, yeah. and-
compost and brush drop off.
Right, so that's the other thing too. I know we talked several ideas, moving it over by our existing shop and that. The nice thing about this is it keeps it almost in the same location.
Yeah.
So historically, people are gonna go to the same spot. But yes, we can definitely sign that.
I will motion to approve the yard waste drop-off site improvements.
Motion.
I'll second it.
Okay, all right. I got a motion and second by Larry. Any further comments on that? All right, hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right,
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstained? Motion carries.
Can I make this
guess-
next one real quick?
Yeah,
I will motion to approve the Purple Cow contract.
all right. Motion to approve the Purple Cow contract
second.
and a second. Any other comments on that?
I don't know if Rick's still on, but I don't think, Rick, I don't know if this has to go to board. I don't think so. It has the administrator's signature on there along with Purple Cows, so I think it's pretty straightforward.
All right, 3-year contract, I like it. All right, any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed, any abstained, motion carries. All right, then, Josh, if you're still here, we can move on to your report. Oh, there you are.
Yeah, let's just talk about a few of the projects going on in the village. You can hear me okay?
Yep.
Yep.
So let's first talk a little bit about Shady Grove subdivision. They had kind of finished up most of the infrastructure a year plus ago. They didn't request kind of substantial completion, so it kind of maintained all the infrastructure, the roads, everything else on their own. And we've been asking them for a while to kind of, finish up some of the miscellaneous items and request that substantial completion, which they have now. We just recently went out and reviewed their lift station, and we're going to go actually do a final walkthrough with them on August 15th. There's quite a few things out there that I think need to be repaired or fixed if you've been driving out there. The asphalt's in rough shape in a bunch of areas. I'm still a little concerned about the median. So Bus Road, as it goes south through there, it was planned, a handful of years ago when they first did that, to have this large median that could basically turn Bus Road into a 4-lane someday. So the median's kind of left open, and Brian and I have been talking about it a little bit along with other staff, just how hard it is to maintain that. So we're going to talk to Debbie and the developer a little bit on, there's supposed to be a little bit of a gravel shoulder there and then nice grass in between. It's kind of just always been kind of left as dirt and weeds, and during plowing season, it's pretty easy for the village staff to kind of wander off into that zone. So we got to come up with kind of a creative solution to try to get that restored, looking good, or maybe put something else there temporarily in its place. So we got to talk through that a little bit. And if you ever get a chance to drive out there. I'd be curious if anybody else has any other ideas or thoughts on that median.
I was
Maybe
there
you
today,
said
actually. I was
Yeah.
dropping off my niece for a play date over there, and I noticed a lot of erosion. Of course, I know you guys don't do that anymore, and with the heavy rain
Yeah.
the other day, but it looks messy. And I understand there are some purposeful to help clean the water that runs off, drainage with natural prairie things in the middle, but it doesn't really seem like this is being maintained to be that. It is just kind of wild free for all. So I would definitely be, I'm not sure I necessarily have a suggestion, but I think we should expect a little bit more from the developer before it's turned over to us, that it's actually like a functional spot that we can continue to maintain, rather than just like turn it over to us in a mess.
I would agree. Yeah, and you probably noticed that, you know, the asphalt in places over there is in rough shape, and they only put the lower level down, the binder level, so they still have to put a level on top of that. So they're gonna have to repair some of that lower level and then fully pave it, and then I think they can fully restore that median. So there's in my opinion, and Brian probably has the same opinion, is there's quite a bit of work that they still need to do before I think we feel comfortable taking it over. And we've been kind of warning them about that for the last year, and I think they've been a little more concerned with just selling lots and building the homes, and you know, we need to get that shaped up, especially now that, like you went over there, Heidi. There's people living there now, right? They feel that they're part of the village, right? And this is village infrastructure, but you know, it really hasn't been turned over to us yet.
Thanks, Josh.
Any other questions on Shady Grove? Moving to a couple others, Authentics. You know, we've been working with the developer there a little bit on some utility issues, but they also then finally finished the dog park remaining infrastructure with parking lot that's over there, the path. You know, it's more of a parks thing when Sean opens that once the garage is established, but majority of everything in that is done and substantially completed. Cottage Grove Commons, there's still some outstanding stuff over there. They're still moving some dirt around. There's still a couple basins that have to be sort of regraded, that have been silted in. We've been on the developer about those, and we're not going to take ownership of that stormwater infrastructure until it's final, right? Until it's in its intended use. So if you're over there, you'll probably see a little bit of earth moving around and some digging still happening. As far as development overall, there was a couple this past couple months. Drumlin Towers, the second Drumlin Towers over there, kind of in Houston's development, and then Doggy Daycare. That's just down the street from the Public Works building. Those two sites came through with site plans, and we've been giving feedback. And Drumlin Towers has started. The dog daycare will be starting soon. And then we're also working with the Silver Eagle site, which is the north site, obviously the Amazon site, and that is still in development. They want to have land disturbance permits here in September, so they can try to start moving some dirt out there. So that's exciting that project's moving forward. As far as kind of the public works projects, and Clark and Grove are pretty much wrapped up. There's a couple little small things left on those projects. Otherwise, those are done from last year. We talked about the solar, and then the 23 street improvement project, where it includes pulverization of the existing asphalt on Crawford Drive from Oak Street to Cottage Grove Road, was supposed to start this week. So we're assuming that that's still kind of on schedule, and they'll start at some point this week. If not, it'll be the following week. Wolf Paving and Excavating got that contract. It should be pretty straightforward. There'll be a little bit of spot concrete, driveways, sidewalks, some of the ADA sidewalk ramps that will be addressed, but a majority of it is just the asphalt removal and put back. So that should go pretty quick, and substantial completion is hopefully set for that 45 days, kind of calendar days after they start. So it should go pretty fast. Any questions on that?
I had just one question on Crawford. Is there,
Yep.
will the school buses and such be able to, if first day of school, Friday, September 1st, so that'll be kids, you know, trying to get on the bus or whatever over there, that'll be accessible to the school bus at school time? I know that came up as an issue last year in the first week of school, so just wanted to try to get ahead of it a little bit.
Sure, I've been in touch with Nelson's busing, kind of giving them, I actually sent them projected schedule. Obviously, they know it full well can change, but I'll be in touch with them as this goes on, just to keep them apprised of, you know, the schedule and potential, you know, reroutes if we have to do it for a week or so.
Okay, appreciate that, because of course, it's, you know, trying to wrap up on the day we're trying to, first day of school, so thanks,
Yep.
Ryan.
Nope, sure.
Yeah.
Josh,
I
did
mean,
they fix
hopefully,
that?
Heidi, there would be.
Sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry, it would be similar to Wellbridge, right? Where we pulled the asphalt off, put the curb on, and put some asphalt back on fairly quickly. So it won't be something like Taylor where we ran into where we had underground work and other things that were going on. But like Brian said, there may be a few days that we're gonna have to coordinate as we get closer to that September 1st deadline. I
Do they-
interrupted somebody. Sorry.
Did they fix that second dip at Authentics?
So no, that is a good question. They fixed the big one. The second one had several rounds of more televising and jetting. It appears to be flat, dipped, maybe slightly flat and holds a little bit of water. It appears that there's enough flow through it that it's clearing the solids. We've been watching it. So what everybody's agreed to there at that point, it's just kind of like the last 10 feet before it enters a manhole, is that they're going to give us a 5-year warranty. So the warranty includes that they will televise and clean it. First, they'll televise it before they clean it to show that there's no backup. They will clean it, flush it and clean it, and then televise it again for 5 years straight. And if we see stuff building up or we see stuff that is starting to impede the flow, then they're going to have to fix it. If not, after the 5 years, it's just probably more of a maintenance kind of thing where, just like everywhere else, there's flat sewers. In many communities, you just got to make sure you jet it and keep it clear. Hopefully with the large amount of water that most of those buildings will be producing, it really won't be an issue, but we wanted to put the onus on the developer to have to watch it and show us proof for the next 5 years to make sure that it is not an issue.
Okay.
Does that make sense, Chris?
Yep, thank you. And the other thing, you might not know this, I'm just curious, is I saw Taylor Prairie started redoing their parking lot. Is that the school district that does that? Okay. I just want to thank them because that parking lot sucked.
I'd like to take the credit. I mean, I can, but no, that's the school district.
It was real bad. It needed to be done a long time ago. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, because it
That's
is
all I
a
have.
little, because since it's North Lawn Park too, it's a little like, we sort of share that.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions on the engineer's report? All right. Thank you so much. Then we can move on to director's report. Brian.
Thank you. We had 3 openings, I believe, last time we had our meeting. 2 have been filled. Andrew has, he actually lives in Cottage Grove here, came here from Sun Prairie. He's got 6 years there, so we're happy to have him. He's been a hard worker and good this far, so we're excited to keep him, keep him working. And but our second individual we brought on was actually from Verona. Dave is, I want to say, roughly 5 years there as the lead water technician. He came on to take on our utility technician. Reason I'm reporting on him is he's actually 20% paid out of Public Works. So it's more of a utility position, but it is, he'll help out when he can and when we need him for sure. So we still did, we just reposted again for the last position. It was offered to an individual who unfortunately turned it down. So we'll just try it again.
Thanks, Brian. Welcome those new members
I
to the
will.
team from the committee. We
Yep.
appreciate their service for our community and happy that someone found a spot to work and where they live. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, for sure. One last thing I wanted to report on was obviously, I don't know, I'm sure you've heard from your constituents, the roundabouts at the north end of town aren't looking the greatest. I've been trying to reach out to landscapers. Like the one we finally went with was from Brooklyn. So no, Wisconsin, but still far enough of a drive. They're still working on getting here. I've been trying to keep in touch with them. So they came in on the lowest. We had only 3 bids come in. I have reached out to some landscapers who said they want nothing to do with it. It's just I think what it's got to do with is, one, I think obviously there's a shortage for help, right? 2, I think it's a pretty dangerous area. Those roundabouts are not fun to work in. The reason we don't do it ourselves, part of the reason is it's not even our jurisdiction. I'm not sure the committee's aware, but roughly, I want to say 15, 20 years ago, the Village of Cottage Grove Public Works Director agreed to take over full maintenance from the state because we wanted to keep it at our level. wasn't aware of that when I first got here. So I have reached out to the state, and we're hopefully going to have a meeting here to see if they're willing to reconsider taking back that maintenance. I highly doubt it, but it's worth a shot. But yeah, so right now, it's for us for our insurance anyway, because it's not our jurisdiction. It's hard for us to actually. There's a little bit of hesitance for us to be working in that area, especially a dangerous one like that. And so it's in our best interest to contract this out. So, and I don't know if I shared that quote with you from the landscaping. So, not to divulge who it is, but roughly it's $1,100 per time. So ideally, I'd like to have this done twice a year to maintain it's looking nice. So it costs us a little over $2,000 a year to do. Other quotes were $3,500 per time. So you're talking close to $7,000. I'm trying I'm trying to do what I can to tell the state, you know what, I think it's better off if you take it. And I'm not dragging my feet on this one. I'm just having a hard time getting somebody to come out and maintain it for us. So
I appreciate you working on it, and I think it's the gateway to our community for
Correct.
many people
For
that
sure.
come into Cottage Grove. So I think I'm all about the beautification. If JJ didn't tell you that before you
Oh, yeah.
accepted
No,
the job.
he warned me. No, I'm kidding.
We have the banners
Yeah,
there, so
right.
we're getting there. But
For sure.
it is, the gateway to our community. So I think it's a very important corridor. And, if the state takes it back over, that would be fine. But yeah, I would be in favor of even more than twice per year. I think
Sure.
it would be.
Well, we've talked about possibly twice a year, and with with them putting in a, spraying it to kind of keep the weeds down, maintaining it at that level. Also, we're looking at all avenues. I just don't have a lot of contractors to talk to. There's very few that want the job. So
Yeah, well, and even if it's re-landscaping to something else that's not as much maintenance, I'd be open to that too.
So I can share a quote with you, because I'm not going to give
Yeah.
the contractor, but
Right.
I did look at actually having it put back as grass, $40,000.
Wow.
So it's an option, but it's an expensive one. It would be easy to maintain moving forward. We would probably leave the trees, and everything else would go.
I'd be interested to get some thoughts about maintenance of that TID 5. I know the expenditure period's over with, but I don't know if that counts for maintenance of areas. So
We
it might be a
have-
technicality. Or TID 10. No,
We have 2 years left,
2 years left.
and then it's got to fall under the budget.
Okay.
The
Well, if there's
operating.
something that we need to do up front more,
Sure.
that might be something to think about too.
Yeah, I mean, I can definitely talk to Cameron. I'm sure he's got his individuals he needs to talk to, but to finding a more permanent fix to this. The problem is too, though, there's going to be a lot of hoops for us to go through. It's with the state as far as getting approval to do it, because it technically is their jurisdiction. So, other than general maintenance, we'd have to run it by the state on this.
Okay. Well, thanks for looking into this and just, always emphasizing my importance of the
Of course.
welcoming,
You bet. No, I
area.
totally agree.
Yeah. All right. Any other comments or questions for Brian on his report? Okay, hearing none, then we'll move on to some regular business, a decision we can make tonight. Approving the minutes of the June 6th Public Works Properties and Sustainability Committee meeting. Any comments, edits, or a motion to approve? A motion,
Put that
and did I hear a second?
My microphone was off, sorry. I motion to approve the minutes of the June 6th meeting.
I'll second that.
Okay, motion and second to approve the minutes. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstained? Motion carries. All right, then we have a set tentative date for the next meeting. Looks like Tuesday, September 5th would be the first Tuesday of September. The village board's considering canceling their meeting from the 4th, so I don't anticipate that would overlap with village board next month.
Works for me.
Okay,
I should have, I'm sorry, Heidi.
Yeah, go ahead.
I should have a budget prepared for you to look at, so, just so
Budget
you're aware.
season.
Yeah, right, we're all excited.
All right, so that's a future agenda item. Looks like we'll have Forreston back. We'll have some of the other update items that we talked about tonight. Anyone else have any other items for next month's budget, or next month's agenda? Okay, then we just seek one final motion for the evening.
A motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
Motion and second, non-debatable. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, thanks so much for your time this evening. Appreciate it.